If you're like me, you've seen Yunara's abilities at a glance, but don't know exactly what her kit does or how gameplay should look like. So we're gonna go through the supposed 200 years of game dev champ together. Yunara is a late game hyper carry who specializes in AoE damage and mobility. She reminds me of Zeri on release, otherwise known as Mosquito Zeri. She tends to keep herself safe while also dealing tons of damage to the enemy frontline. You should pick the new hyper carry if you have an easy lane matchup like Zeri, Cipher, or Smolder, while also being able to hit 2 or more champions in a team fight, so melee champs like Not, Skarner, and Cassante. The price Yunara has to pay for this insane chance at DPS late game is a weak laning phase. Due to her low range and lack of wave clear, she has a harder time getting CS and gold needed to scale. The reason why I recommend thinking of her as Zeri is because of how ulti reliant she is. Without her R, she no longer has a dash, doesn't have an insta DPS laser, and has to play around her Q stacks to fight. Be careful which fights you take without her ult, as they can very well be the fight that loses you the game. Yunara's passive adds percentage bonus magic damage to each one of her crits. I know. This is what happens when Riot listens to the community and doesn't write an entire biography worth of text for a champion's passive. Yunara's Q passive granting her AP on hit damage level 1 onwards. Her Q active functions much like Ashe's Q, as autos give her a stack of her Q. She gets 2 stacks for autoing champions, and 1 for autoing anything else. At 8 stacks, Yunara unleashes for 5 seconds, dealing additional on hit damage, lowering her basic attack timer, resetting her auto attack timer, and spreads her autos for up to 2 additional targets. I know, that was a lot, so let me break it down. You want to use her Q when clearing waves for a base or to move on the map, as she autos faster and hits more targets. You also want to use Q right after autoing, as it counts as an auto attack reset, meaning the next auto will come out faster. Finally, in teamfights, you want to hold your Q for when clumps of enemy form or when you need higher DPS. Yunara's W is reminiscent of Smolder W, which fires a skill shot in a targeted direction, dealing damage and slowing those who are struck. The only difference is that this ability slows down upon impact and is forced to reach its target location. In short, this ability can go through multiple targets at the cost of being extremely predictable and dodgeable, as you can see where it's going to end up. This ability also grants vision as it lingers and is a 99% slow, so use it wisely. Yunara's E is as simple as her passive. It's an active version of Vayne's passive. Pretty straightforward for a 200 years champ, I know, right? And finally, Yunara's R enhances all of her abilities for 15 seconds. Her Q becomes active for the entire 15-second duration of her ult. Her W turns into a Xerath Q with a 99% slow, and her E is a longer range Lucian E, which can be used to short dash or full dash. Now the cool part of her R is that it restores 80% of her WCD and fully resets her ECD, making her ult a basic copy and paste of Earth. This incentivizes you to use your W and E before starting your ult to achieve maximum DPS. Her most popular runes are Lethal Tempo, which should account for 90% of your games, and Conquer for that remaining 10. You should only take Conquer if the enemy has high range champions that prevent you from autoing multiple times in skirmishes or team fights. The only major difference I see in the secondary runes is people taking Cosmic Insight and Magical Footwear when you're facing many divers and will need the mobility, versus the usual Axiom Arcanist plus Gathering Storm, which is safer in team fights for higher damage on your ultimate and scaling late game. Her highest DPS build goes as follows: Yuntal into Berserkers, into Runons, IE, or Doms, and BT. BT being interchangeable with any other defensive AD item such as Guardian Angel or Mercurial Scimitar. The Yunara roadmap I've detailed below is a game plan for her early to mid game, which happens to be pretty simple, so let's get into it. Use your Q and your W to blow up waves when you need a quick reset. When looking to all in, get 6 stacks of your Q passive, then auto the enemy champion, as that'll give you the remaining 2 stacks needed to activate your Q. Use the 99% slow on W as set up for either trades or gank angles. As Yunara is a hyper carry who relies heavily on her R, getting to level 6 is her lifeline. Yunara is very ulti reliant, so be wary of taking teamfights without her R. For maximum DPS in fights, try to use your basic abilities, W and E especially, as your ult refunds their CD. For those of you who made it this far into the video, first of all, thank you. I'd like to reward you for getting to this point by giving a hidden tip for playing ADC in general. As ADC, you're the lowest impact role in the game, as you need golden EXP to deal damage and carry fights. Because of this, it's infinitely more important to not be a passenger in your games. Would you guys give the steering wheel of your car to any of your League teammates? If the answer is no, that principle should stay consistent in League. If your team wants to fight a Skull Crab you know isn't good, use your pings. They're the only way you can communicate your willingness to participate in whatever your teammates want to do. On the other hand, communicate in advance for dives or fights you know are going to be good for you. If they don't work, you live and you learn. It's this constant refusal to make your own decisions that keeps most players in elo hell. Now try this trick out and let me know how it goes in the comments. If you like these types of videos, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe so I can keep putting out videos like these. Take care and I'll see you next time.